The family of Virginia Giuffre, who became the most prominent victim of Jeffrey Epstein, that Lord Mandelson should never have been appointed UK ambassador to the United States. In an exclusive interview with Laura Kuenssberg, Virginia's brother, Sky Roberts, said there is no question that Lord Mandelson ever met Mr. Fry or that he sought introductions to women from Epstein. Sky praised the UK for taking action but said it was far from enough. He called the government's original decision to appoint Lord Mandelson deeply wrong, arguing that people who are known to maintain such friendships should not be allowed to hold high office. He asked why it takes public pressure to hold powerful people accountable and said many officials in government, politics, and finance continue to keep their titles without shame. He should never have been given that title, Sky said. We should have acted sooner. Now we must put the spotlight on those who are still protected by their status. When asked whether Lord Mandelson should have been given the job in the first place, Sky Roberts was clear. Absolutely not. He should never have been given that position. It shows just how deep the corruption runs in our systems, whether in the UK, the United States, or beyond. For the record, Lord Mandelson has always said he knew nothing about the abuse connected to Jeffrey Epstein. In recent years, he has also expressed deep regret over their friendship. Roberts continued, I believe anyone mentioned in that book, including President Trump, should be fully and thoroughly investigated. And if wrongdoing is found, they should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. That is what this is about. Despite Mandelson's dismissal on Thursday, pressure continues to mount on Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Both the government and opposition parties addressed the controversy on Sunday with Laura Kuenssberg. Our political correspondent Georgia Roberts has the details. This affair continues to haunt Downing Street, particularly after the release of new emails between Mandelson and Epstein. Newly released emails between Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein revealed a deeper connection between the two men, a revelation that ultimately led to Mandelson's sacking. On Sunday with Laura Kuenssberg, the focus shifted back to the Prime Minister's judgment in appointing Mandelson to such a senior role in the first place. It is important to stress that there is no suggestion Lord Mandelson ever met Virginia Giuffre or was introduced to any women by Jeffrey Epstein. However, Giuffre's family told Kuenssberg's program that Mandelson should never have been appointed to the post. Criticism has continued to mount against Downing Street and Sir Keir Starmer's judgment in making the appointment. That pressure has grown not only from the opposition but also from within Labour's own ranks. Laura Kuenssberg also spoke with Business Secretary Peter Kyle this morning. He was asked directly whether it was a mistake to appoint Peter Mandelson to the position. On Sky News, Business Secretary Peter Kyle acknowledged that the risks of appointing Peter Mandelson, given his association with Jeffrey Epstein, were already a matter of public record. He noted that Mandelson was a man of considerable talent who, at the time, had greatly strengthened the UK-US relationship during a particularly fragile period. Asked by Laura Kuenssberg whether the appointment was a mistake, Kyle said, "It is extremely distressing to hear these accounts. The victims must always come first in situations like this, and I'm pleased that their voices have been brought forward for what Epstein did." When Peter Mandelson was appointed, global politics had been turned upside down. The relationship between Britain and America was in a perilous state, threatened by tariffs and severe economic pressures. Britain needed someone with exceptional skills and rare experience to help reframe this special relationship. Yes, much was known at the time about Mandelson's association with Epstein, and he had apologized for it. These factors were weighed carefully before the decision was made. Peter Kyle went on to explain that Mandelson's appointment had gone through an independent cabinet office review, followed by a political process run by Number 10. He said, "On balance, based on what was publicly known and what journalists also knew at the time, the decision was taken to appoint him. During that period, we successfully navigated the most difficult phase in the UK-US relationship since the Second World War, and we delivered for people in Britain time and again." However, Kyle admitted that in retrospect, given what Downing Street and the Prime Minister now know, it is highly unlikely Peter Mandelson would have been appointed to the ambassadorship. He defended the Prime Minister's judgment, saying Sir Keir Starmer acted decisively once he was shown the full cache of emails between Mandelson and Epstein, which revealed a much deeper relationship. The Conservatives, however, continue to press for answers, particularly about the vetting process and what exactly was known inside Downing Street when the appointment was made. This weekend, former Minister Ben Houchen accused the Prime Minister of lying about what he knew and when. Downing Street has insisted that when Sir Keir Starmer defended Peter Mandelson in the Commons, he had not yet seen the full cache of emails. They say he only became aware of their contents later that evening. The Conservatives, however, are keeping up the pressure. Shadow Education's Secretary Laura Trott told Sunday with Laura Quensberg, "There are serious questions about the Prime Minister's judgment this week. This is the man who stood on the steps of Downing Street promising to restore integrity to politics. And yet, in the space of 2 weeks, we've had 2 senior resignations. We saw the outrageous decision to appoint the best friend of a convicted pedophile as ambassador to the U.S. Starmer says that when he defended Mandelson on Wednesday, he didn't know about the ongoing relationship. But allegations had already surfaced on Tuesday, and Mandelson himself admitted there was more to come. On what planet did the Prime Minister not seek assurances? I don't buy it, and neither do my colleagues." The BBC and other outlets have reported widely that Starmer did not see the full set of emails until Wednesday night. Still, critics insist this strains credibility, pointing out that Bloomberg had already put allegations to the Foreign Office on Tuesday. Laura Trott argued, "This is why we need transparency. We will use every mechanism available to force the truth to come out. And if you're a Labour MP watching this, you should be demanding it too." The controversy shows no sign of easing. Conservatives say they will keep the pressure on into next week, just as the government prepares for a high-profile state visit with President Trump. For Downing Street, the immediate challenge will be to contain the fallout and prevent it from overshadowing the visit, particularly given that President Trump himself faces ongoing questions about his own links to Jeffrey Epstein.